Our airmen and our soldiers face tremendous challenges and stress daily, whether they're deployed overseas or at home. As a Guard family, we're in this together. We need to turn to one another to ensure our success and to guarantee strength in community.
The year after I got back from deployment, I went with OIF-1, just really feeling that hopeless feeling. Went on for about a year, to the point where I was sure that I just didn't really know where I wanted to go. And I'd gone beyond suicide idealization. I had it all planned out. And you know what? When I finally did say, this is how I'm feeling, nobody knew.
Me, I'm just a soldier like the next person. I deployed. I'm a 20-year retiree. You know, I'm just the average Joe. I'm not someone that's a high-ranking officer or some medical doctor out there saying, "Hey, we need to do this." I'm someone that's lived it and experienced it, and I've struggled myself. I was probably back. I got back in 2004. It was probably 2006 before I would admit that I had at least some PTSD issues.
I actually had the chance to volunteer for mortuary. That pretty much changed my life. I handled it a lot better than I thought I would, as far as seeing them going through their personal effects. I was really in go mode, wanting to do the paperwork properly, making sure everything was documented properly. And little did I know that my mind was taking pictures along the way. As soon as I was done for the day, I could not sleep. All I kept thinking about was the people that I just processed. It wasn't seeing them in the state that they were in. I was having dreams that I was there with them before they got killed and I couldn't save them.
I just figured I'd get back and fall right back into everything I did before I left, you know, and it wasn't the case at all. It was the opening day of deer season, and you know, all of us were just, you know, really pumped up to go. That first day when we went out deer hunting and I heard that first shot and pretty much instantly dropped to the ground, I knew that things might be a little difficult. Just trying to put the danger behind me. The worst part about it was the drive home. You know, riding in a car at 70 miles an hour is quite a bit different than going 10 miles an hour expecting to get blown up. There was lots of different times where I'd catch myself, you know, driving, you know, maybe 15, 20 miles an hour.
My vehicle was struck with an IED. My driver and gunner were both killed. Myself and my interpreter were both critically wounded. I can't get up in the morning without thinking about them. I have a scar from where they did the surgery to take my spleen and bagram that is from navel to sternum. So there's no way that there isn't a day that I can't think about them. Getting off that plane knowing that those two mothers would be waiting there for me. That was probably one of the hardest things I've done in my life.
I was diagnosed with a chronic wasting disease, which kind of sucks. My doctor was very wise. He looked at me and he said, "Well, that's not as bad as people who have cancer." And it kind of shook me back for a minute, but it was true. He was helping me frame it. He was helping me see it as not such a bad thing.
And when I look back on it now, I realized that I really didn't want to end my life. I just wanted to end my pain. I was just in so much pain. What brought me out of it is that I realized that my family really needed me. I stopped thinking about myself and realized that my family needed me.
The way that I dealt with things like that was just talking to my big brother. And sometimes, like, if I feel like I really have a lot of weight on my shoulders or whatever, just talking to him at the end of it, you know, it's not so bad.
But that's what each individual has to find. They have to find what those things are that can help relieve their stress. For some, it might be work out. Go do PT for a while. Go get a good sweat going. For me, myself, when I recognize that I'm feeling pretty stressed and everything else like this, I look for those things that I enjoy. And the things that are going to take my mind away from where my problems are at or where my issues are at.
I focus on the good times or the happy times. You know, you look at a timeline of your life, and you might have a blip that isn't quite so good, but you got to remember the rest of your life really wasn't all that bad. You know, and And you've gotten through every situation that's gotten to where you're at, and you'll get through this too if you choose to, and that's it's a choice.
One of the things that helped me get through a lot of the days in the hospital was the little victories. We take so much for granted in our everyday lives. I mean, just the ability to get up and walk out the door. And when that's taken away, when all those little things are taken away, each one you get back in some aspects is a victory, you know, it's an accomplishment.